Hi, I'm Joel.
I'm Marisa.
I'm Dylan.
No, we're not keeping that one.
What?
I started laughing while you said it.
That's perfect, though.
I like the passive-aggressive tone in my voice on that one.
I was thinking we could start by explaining the premise for this month.
Spooks!
Yeah, spooks. 17 of them?
Yes.
Well,
Right?
theoretically.
Literally, we watched 17 horror movies together.
Well,
over the course of 1 month.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
And instead of going one by one, or batch by batch, because we'd watch several in one night, figured we'd just do sort of each of our top threes out of the whole 17. Top 3 favorites, not top 3 best. Like best made. And just kind of go over why, what we got out of them, why we enjoyed them, things like that. So we watched a lot of fucking horror movies. So what did we watch this month?
So the first night we watched...
You've got it by night.
Letterboxd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first night we watched The Exorcist, A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Evil Dead, Hellraiser, and The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The original one.
Yes, the original one. The second
Should've
night...
watched the remake.
Literally.
Yeah. Funny.
Maybe we can have a...
No, we don't have to.
No. Now we have to have a night that is shitty remake night. You can watch The Thing. The Thing.
Well, that's not shitty. It's just not as good. Is it shitty? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's shitty.
Oh, okay.
I've seen one clip of the CGI. I'm pretty sure it's shitty.
Alright. Shitter.
The second night...
Second night.
The second night, our theme was part 2s or like sequels. We watched The Evil Dead 2, Friday the 13th Part 2, and Exorcist 3.
Okay.
And we also watched Halloween and Child's Play, but that's because we decided on those later.
Oh yeah, those were bonus movies. We always try and get through 3 movies, and then anything else is a bonus.
And then the next night, we watched The Thing, Scream, Alien, just those 3.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
The Thing, Scream, and Alien.
Okay.
And then the next night, we watched, which is this night.
Tonight.
Yeah. We watched Christine, Day of the Dead, Bone Tomahawk, and The Witch.
Yes.
The Vivitch.
The Witch.
A lot of fucking movies.
I think I got them.
Yeah.
I think that's all 17.
I think you did.
That's like, what, 3 hours?
At the very least.
I'd say maybe like 252 hours at the maximum.
God damn. I don't have that kind of time. Is it 200 hours of Hellraiser?
Oh,
that one's my
God.
favorite.
Oh yeah. That's all 3 of my top 3s. It's just different scenes from Hellraiser.
Yeah, I actually didn't like Hellraiser.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
No,
that was the only one, I think, out of a whole bunch that I genuinely disliked. Like, the rest were at least average. That one made me mad. That pissed me off.
The only one that came close was Child's Play, and I didn't dislike it.
No.
But it was just like...
Although, I think that one might have been elevated a bit by the fact that it was the Gemini Killer.
Yeah.
The same actor that played the Gemini Killer in Exorcist 3 was the guy that played Chucky the doll.
Yeah.
We watched this on the same night, right?
I gave Hellraiser a 1.5, and I gave Chucky a 2. So...
That's what I did, so...
I might have actually given it higher on accident when I filled it out again today.
And the only reason Hellraiser got that much is the practical effects.
Oh.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
It was a convoluted mess. I didn't know what was happening. It was shit. I guess that's what happens when authors write a script for a film. It just doesn't make sense.
That's not entirely fair. It's really not.
Stephen King has done it.
Oh.
Well, that's a good example.
Don't start on me with Stephen King movies. He clearly
This particular author.
That one.
He's shit.
Well, the reason that I say that is because of one of my top 3s. It's actually my top one.
Mm-hmm.
My number one movie out of those 17 is The Exorcist 3, which was written by an author.
Okay, cut it out.
Do I have anybody in agreement that is their actual top movie out of the 17?
Me!
Yay!
That's my number one is different, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, is it at least in your part 3? Part 3. Is it
yes,
at least in your top
Exorcist 3 is in my top 3.
Okay, good.
Hey, Joel.
What?
Why do you like The Exorcist 3 so much?
Mainly because it's a cop movie with a demon in it, instead of a demon movie with a cop in it.
Mm-hmm.
Although the title may have you think otherwise.
Why?
Because when you have a title like The Exorcist, you're imagining like an exorcism, like The Conjuring or something.
Yeah. Well, there is an exorcism.
But it's not the focal point of the movie. Not the focal point of the movie.
That's true.
It's actually the very ending, and it's an earned scene.
And the studio had to say, "Hey, you got to put an exorcism in there."
Yeah.
By the way,
if you're gonna call the, that's not even fair. He wasn't gonna call the movie Exorcist. He was just gonna call it Legion,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, we're gonna capitalize on the exorcism name, and then make you have an exorcism in it. Fuck you, William Peter Blatty.
Doesn't the actual exorcism only last for like 35 seconds in the movie?
Something like that. I mean,
and then we get some monologue from George C. Scott for a little while.
An incredible monologue. Everything that man says is so good. I want to watch a George C. Scott montage of every line in that movie that he says. It's so fun.
What? The fish?
Oh, the carp.
The carp in the bathtub. At the beginning of the movie, you have no fucking clue what is going on, what he's talking about.
It's just slowly zooming in on his face and getting more and more claustrophobic. And he's ranting about the fact that his wife brought him a carp. And it's swimming around in the bathtub because they have to wait several days to eat it. And he said that he can't go home while the carp is still awake because he might kill it. He said, I hate that carp. And then we just cut. What a fucking movie. So, I have to try and remember the plot of The Exorcist 3. Good and proper.
Are you sure you don't want me to read it?
Yeah, I'm certain.
Okay.
If I get something wrong, I don't care.
So
we watched 17 movies.
Very brief synopsis.
Yeah. Reasonably short.
So it's the detective from the first Exorcist, correct?
Yes. And the surviving priest. His name's Father Dyer.
Yeah.
He's the one that was holding the Father Karras, one of the exorcists that performed the exorcism in the first Exorcist movie.
Jumped out the window
and fell down the famous Exorcist steps.
Presumably died.
Yeah, Father Dyer was the one that said his last rites. He was the other, basically only surviving priest in that movie.
And this movie takes place how many years after?
17?
Something like that.
Something like that. And there's been strange serial killings in Georgetown?
Yes, Georgetown.
In Georgetown.
I thought you were just saying it was Georgetown because George C. Scott's there.
Oh.
It is his town.
It is, yeah.
And they're all linked by, I don't remember.
Sign of the Gemini.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Hand, yeah.
And I think you should say your left hand. They can't see that you're pointing here.
It's fine. I might play the clip or I might cut it out.
Okay.
Either one.
So yeah.
There's been serial killings that mimic killings from 15 years ago from a person who was executed.
The Gemini killer.
Yes, the Gemini killer. And they bear his calling cards that were never released to the public. So
it couldn't be a copycat.
Right. It can't be. It can only be somebody on the inside or he's back from the dead or some shit.
So the whole movie is basically that.
Yeah, it's just George C. Scott trying to solve these murders, and he ends up finding a connection to somebody who is in a high security ward of a hospital.
Father Karras.
Yeah.
Father Karras is alive.
Father Karras, who died 15 years ago at the bottom of those steps, is alive and is possessed by the soul of the Gemini killer, who was burned on the electric chair at the same instant that Father Karras died.
Should we also mention that at the end of Exorcist 1, he gave the demon permission to enter his body?
Oh, true.
So,
true. That's also, that is also why.
Yeah.
Father Karras took the demon within him out of Reagan, the little girl, and then he jumped out of the window of his own accord.
So that's how he's still alive, basically.
Yeah, possessed. And the Gemini killer goes through an excruciating amount of detail of the biology aspect, like biological aspect of keeping him alive. How in his grave he had to reconstruct the dead brain cells of Father Karras. Do you remember that? And it's like an interesting mix of, I won't call it fantasy, like demon possession, theology, magic, and science. So that's a basic synopsis.
Yeah. Basically, that's all that happens, really.
So it really is just a cop drama. Where he's just solving murders, but the demon is just a wild card. And I guess that's kind of what I like about it, because a lot of horror movies will take The Conjuring, I guess, as a decent example. It's about scaring you with things you don't understand. You don't know why doors are opening themselves. You don't know why clocks are stopping. You can physically see the effects of possession. You know it's a demon or a ghost or anything from the get-go. And in Exorcist 3, it is the horror of humanity that humanity reaps upon itself and creates by its own accord. And George C. Scott is so tired and so over it. He has been a cop in this town for so long and has seen so many shitty things, and his whole outlook on life is that the world is filth and slime and stink. He actually says stink in that last monologue. And that people can do just the worst things to each other. The film opens with I guess the film opens with a very strange dream sequence of the Exorcist house. A little black kid.
Yeah, we find out is he gets killed in the beginning of the movie.
And the way he gets killed is
it's terrible.
Let me point out real quick that you don't see any gore in this movie at all. You don't see hardly even a drop of blood in the whole film. But the way that this killing is described by George C. Scott is like, let's see, this like 9-year-old black kid was found on a shore, crucified on two rowing oars. His head was removed. He had iron ingots rammed through his eyes, and in the place of his head was placed the head of a statue of Christ. Without seeing any of that incredible imagery still sticks with me. Like 2 weeks, I think, 2 or even 3 weeks after I've seen that movie, I remember the details of that one murder more than all the killings in Friday the 13th, and any of like the major slashers. It's like they're known for bombastic, exaggerated kills.
But that's just terrible.
The one description of a kill in The Exorcist, the only thing that stands close, I think, is maybe Bone Tomahawk. Watching that man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get into that right now. But
it's awful. It's terrible. And you see it.
Speaking of imagery that the movie has, not only in the descriptions that they give of the killings that are happening, but actual imagery that the movie has. There's a scene that goes on for so long.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a goodie.
And you're just wondering what is going to happen in the scene, and you're building up tension, and you're feeling tension all over your body.
Oh, yeah.
And at the very last second, something happens, and you don't even get to see like the kill or anything.
The one jump scare in the movie.
And it's terrifying.
It's earned.
Yeah.
It's a hanging shot. It hangs for 10 minutes.
It feels like 10 full minutes of that movie.
It's just a really wide shot of a receptionist desk at a hospital. And it's just like you're waiting for something to happen.
I think it zooms in and out slowly.
Yeah.
I think
you get some different shots when she goes into a room to check a noise or something.
Yeah,
I think that's the only.
It's the only cut.
Isn't there like a cheap jump scare when she goes into that room?
Yes.
There's a cheap jump scare, and then there's like
the shot. Okay, so the shot holds for 5 full minutes.
Yeah.
She goes into the room. There's a cheap jump scare, and comes back out. And it's the same shot for 5 more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what is going to happen? And it's like killing you the whole time.
People are going in and out of this scene, like security guards.
And as soon as the security guards, both of them, as soon as they both leave, she opens a door to check a noise, I think. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
She walks out.
And she doesn't see anything. And then she walks out, and then a nun-looking person with shears charges out. Oh no, it's with that
it's the bone cutter.
Yeah, the bone cutter shear thing. And charges out, and loud sting plays, and it just cuts.
I could be wrong about this, but I feel like this is there. If it's not, maybe it should be. Earlier in the movie, they're in the morgue of this hospital. Maybe it's not a morgue, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not a hospital. Either way, they're in a morgue. And George C. Scott is inspecting the tools of the morgue to look for a weapon or a tool that could have been used to perpetrate these crimes. And he picks up the bone saw, and he's like...
The bone shears.
Yeah, the bone shears, sorry. And they're so hard to pull open, and they're spring-loaded, so that once you get them open, they
just fly together.
Yeah. So, but you hear them click all the way open in that shot, and I think you can hear that click.
Oh, maybe.
In the hallway shot.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I feel like that might be the noise that nurse is investigating. Like she hears the click of the bone shears in that room.
That'd be amazing.
That would be. If it's not the case, I'm going to retcon that and say that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's what happened. It doesn't matter what actually happened.
Right.
I might confirm it later. The future editing Joel can put it in there.
Let us know. And so, I do want to mention, I might be a boomer.
Okay.
But this movie is basically just people talking for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I love it.
It's the greatest thing. Very little actually happens.
Yeah.
In this movie, there's no action. There's not a lot of spooks.
No.
It's just a collection of character scenes.
The dialogue is so captivating.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
It's one of the most riveting movies I've ever seen. Like honestly.
Oh yeah. Fully, all my top 3 got to be where they are because they held my attention flawlessly for the entire runtime. Like, I never wanted to look away from this movie because I just wanted to see what they were going to talk about next. Doesn't matter if it's describing the gruesome details of a person being murdered in the most horrific way possible, or a monologue about a carp in a fishing tub.
Yeah.
In a bathtub.
Yeah.
Fish in a bathtub. There we go.
That's a movie.
What?
There's a movie called Fish in a Bathtub.
Oh.
It has Mark Ruffalo in it.
Oh, God.
Oh. Sorry. So, as far as, like, characters and dialogue are concerned, one of the main drives of the movie is, like, the relationship between George C. Scott and Father Dyer.
Yeah, and you definitely get to see how their like friendship has stayed through all these years. And like it doesn't seem like they're friends, but you can tell like their dialogue is fun together. It's depressing, But
they're
it's
friends.
fun.
They're depressed friends together.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to listen to.
Like it.
Yeah.
We're all depressed.
Yeah. And then when he ends up dying, like halfway through the movie,
oh yeah,
the shot of it's like George C. Scott's POV, and it's just like a long shot, him walking through the hospital, and everyone's just staring at the camera.
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh god.
They're all like, how the fuck is he gonna deal with this?
Yeah. And
he's
then
the only friend in the world.
He walks into the room and he's just like speechless the entire scene.
Yeah,
it's so sad.
It's so sad. Like, and it's a testament to that character.
Mm-hmm.
He holds it together long enough that like he doesn't break down until a couple scenes later. I think
when he's talking to the doctors.
When he's in the doctor's like the actual office, and they're just yelling at each other, and they're trying to figure like one of the administrators like, we need to get the police out of the hospital. You're harming the patients by making them more anxious and shit like that. And George C. Scott just fucking loses his mind. He's so done. He just shouts and slams his fist and then breaks down sobbing. It's like you feel for him in that moment.
He's so broken.
He is. He hates everyone he works with. He hates humanity, and the only person that ever gave him a bit of hope, he just had to inspect his body.
His performance in that is just
it's
incredible.
It's so good.
I haven't seen him in anything else.
Yeah.
And I love him. This is the only movie I've seen him in. Yeah. And he's just
perfect.
Yeah. He's so good in it.
Like, that death, Father Dyer's death, hits so hard because you spent the first half of the movie, like, with that couple, basically, with that pair. I want to say one of the earlier scenes. Oh, there's a cute little character nod and a reference to the first Exorcist, where George C. Scott's character, the detective, would invite Father Karras in the first one to go see a movie.
Yeah.
And then at the end, after Karras is dead and he talks to Father Dyer at the end of the first one, he invites him to go see a movie. Because he just wants a companion, I think.
And I think he says what Karras said. He's like, I've seen it already. Or something
I already
like
seen it. So apparently, on the anniversary of Father Karras' death, they go see a movie together every time.
Which is just another testament to their friendship.
Yeah, but there's a scene with each of them separately saying, oh, it's time to go cheer up my friend. He always gets depressed around this time.
Okay.
And they both just play it off as just helping the other one, but really, they both need it.
Yeah.
And they actually go see a movie. I think they go see It's a Wonderful Life. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Based on what happens later in the movie and other references to It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah,
I think that's what they saw. And then they go to dinner, and George C. Scott, I don't remember the character's name, so I'm just gonna call him George C. Scott.
Yeah, that's his name.
The detective, George C. Scott.
Yeah.
Explains like they're discussing humanity, and it's if it's good, if it's evil, if people deserve to be saved. And as a good, Christian, Father Dyer is like, people can grow and improve and be better and, denounce their sin. And then...
So in response to that, George C. Scott tells Father Dyer about the horrific details of the killings that have been going on.
Yeah. Specifically the little black kid. In just excruciating detail. And it cuts back to Father Dyer.
Just questioning his faith his whole life.
His whole worldview is just shattered in front of him.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you reconcile knowing the two?
At the end, George C. Scott does.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The manner in which Father Dyer dies. This whole movie is realistic, bordering on paranormal. Where it can maintain a detective drama the whole way through, but you're like, God damn it, how did a person do this? This is an Exorcist movie, it has to be a demon, but I haven't seen any demons yet.
Yeah,
I have not seen Pazuzu.
Yeah, because Father Dyer, they say all of his blood is completely out of his system and placed in a bunch of vials next to his corpse in the hospital.
They say not a drop.
Yeah, not a drop spilled. So you're like, that's not possible.
How?
It's not possible for a human to do that.
His head was fully removed without a drop of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and guess what's written on the wall?
Oh yeah, what is it?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Oh, it's written in blood. I guess we should probably say that.
Yeah, I guess that would be the only drop spilled used, but it's spelled in such a way that it's spelled wrong, but it was the same way that the Gemini killer spelled all that shit.
Yeah,
because he was illiterate apparently. Couldn't figure out the single L at the end of the word.
Speaking of the Gemini killer,
yeah,
one thing I do want to talk about. So Father Karras he's in the movie, the same actor, same character, and he's in the psych ward of the hospital or something.
It's a maximum security prison.
Yeah,
it's in the hospital though. I'm not exactly certain where that is.
So at one point in the movie, George C. Scott goes to see him because he finds out that, oh shit, Father Karras is still alive.
Yeah,
somehow. And we get a really nice looking shot with moonlight coming through the two windows in the theme.
Yeah.
Shining on both the characters. But at first, it's just Father Karras. It's his actor. And then at one point, my God, Brad Dourif comes in.
Yeah.
He plays the Gemini killer in the movie. And God, he just gives a fucking performance as the Gemini killer in this, doesn't he?
He does a great job.
He's just so captivating to watch. Like, you can't take your eyes off of him.
Best demon, I think.
Yeah.
Ever, maybe.
Yeah. And he goes into detail on how he does some of these things. He even says something about when you decapitate someone, they can still see for like 20 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
That's why I like to hold him up to give him a view.
Yeah. So it just gives another layer of, wow, this is fucked.
Yeah.
To everything.
And what's crazy is, even though he is possessing a body, he is technically a demon. He was once a man and did that shit as a man. So still, even though it's a demon,
I never even thought about that. That like he did this as a man, like before he was a demon.
It's still just like, even as it's a demon, but all of the horror and all of the just terrible, vile things are done by people, real people, and it's so depressing.
And it's crazy because I mean, things like that happen in the real world.
Oh yeah,
they had to get inspiration from somewhere.
Unless William Peter Blatty is just a secret psychopath. Yeah.
But yeah, the interrogation scenes they're amazing. They really are. Like two amazing actors playing off of each other. It's so good.
It's wonderful.
It's so good.
As part of it, it's like George C. Scott has to reconcile not only the fact that Father Karras is alive, but he is 100% possessed. It's like the detective didn't really see the exorcism. He just knew some funky shit happened in the first one.
Yeah.
And then Father Karras died, and then, oh look, Reagan's fine now. But now he is face to face with a demon. And he also, they play with the fact that the existence of a demon implies the existence of hell, which implies the existence of the Christian God, and that's not a thing that he believes in. He doesn't have faith. So he has to reconcile. So, let me put it this way. Father Dyer started with faith and had to reconcile the scum of the earth, the vile things humanity does. And then George C. Scott started with that and now has to reconcile that with the potential existence of God.
Which is a hard conclusion to come to.
Right. Like, I don't know what I would do faced with a demon. It's like, not even like how to react, just what does that mean for my own existence?
And then the workings of the demon aren't exactly clear, if I remember correctly, because he's locked in the chamber, but he just bounces around to people, if I remember correctly.
He goes to people that are ill mind, because they're easier to possess.
So, like the nurse, or the quote-unquote nurse that goes to...
Which is just a, dementia patient.
It was a dementia patient who he possessed to bonk a nurse on the head and steal her clothes.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, she got killed, I think, right?
Oh yeah, she's dead.
Yeah.
Nurse is dead.
Yeah, she's dead. Yeah, we find that out in that crazy-ass scene where George C. Scott is in that room with all the patients in it, and the fucking old lady's climbing up the wall. What the fuck is going on?
Oh man, that's one of the few paranormal spooks.
Yeah.
And if you're not into the movie, if you're not feeling it,
you could probably think it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, it would be so silly.
Yeah,
because it's super overlit.
But he moves really quick and jerky, and it just looks kind of funny.
It's like Spider Pig from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But if you're into the movie, if you're really feeling it, that is disturbing because of all of the reasons that it's humorous. It's overlit. It's not supposed to be dark and creepy, and you're just seeing presumably a real person just on the fucking ceiling right above George C. Scott. It's like,
and he doesn't know.
Right, he has no idea. It's like, I don't know what's gonna happen now. I have no fucking clue. And let's see, the climax of the movie?
Yeah, we should talk about that. The controversy, quote unquote, surrounding it.
Let's take it a little bit before that.
Oh, okay.
I think the climax is when he rushes home.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, Gemini killer, like we said, he bounces bodies. He he possessed a dementia patient, dressed her up as a nurse by killing a nurse, and then went to George C. Scott's home to go fuck with his family. And George C. Scott figures this out. I don't remember how exactly.
He gets a call or something with a phone call, and what was it? I don't remember. I remember something with a phone call, right?
Well, there was something with a phone call.
I think the Gemini killer said his daughter's name.
Yeah, the Gemini killer said his daughter's name. George C. Scott went to the phone to call home. The line was busy.
Right.
But what was happening, because the line was busy because the demon was on the phone with George C. Scott's wife and making it sound like it was George C. Scott on the phone with his wife.
Saying that a nurse is coming over or something like that.
So the family thinks everything's good, and George C. Scott has no way to communicate with his family. So he just rushes home. And it's just, the rushing home is just like a police car.
Yeah.
Like just a genuine footage of what it looks like to get through traffic as a policeman in Georgetown. But it's so tense because George C. Scott's like just freaking the fuck out. Telling him to go on the sidewalk and just run into people. And meanwhile, it'll cut to the nurse in the backseat of the taxi or whatever.
Just staring blankly.
Staring blankly. Both hands on the bag. Staring right ahead. Clearly not there. It almost looks like the demon's not even in there. Like, it looks like she has gone back to dementia patient. At that point. It's like, part of the horror is that you don't know. You don't know who the Gemini killer is at any given point because he can bounce around. So George C. Scott comes home and sees the nurse sitting at the table. And he suspects her, but he recognizes her because he was in that ward, and he goes up to her, and for a second, the Gemini killer is not there. She's not possessed. And she says...
Doesn't she say, like, help me or something?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So either help me or, like, something related to... Where am I? Are you the man that's going to fix the radio?
Yeah, something.
And then that makes him drop his guard for, like, half a second, and then she pulls out the goddamn bone shears.
And goes for
Julie?
The daughter.
Yeah. It's Julie?
I thought it was Jenny, but...
Yeah, either one.
Whatever.
The daughter.
George C. Jr.?
Yeah. And it looks like, the way it's filmed, it looks like she gets fucking...
Oh yeah,
it looks like she dies.
Obliterated, but her grandma, racist grandma, who hates Jewish people for some reason. It's a lot of random anti-Semitism at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, there is.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Very strange. And then it's dropped.
Completely.
I wonder if it's just added in to throw, like, just the vileness of humanity.
Maybe.
it's not only with the old people, but it's also with the police. But Grandma saves Jenny. Yeah.
Yeah. And
pulls her head away.
Does he shoot her?
I don't know.
I don't remember how that scene ends.
Me either.
Well, that happens. We don't remember how it ends.
It's resolved. That's the climax of the movie. Super tense leading all the way up there.
Yeah.
With the car chase.
Mm-hmm.
But then the ending of the movie, which has a bit of controversy, George C. Scott goes back to the hospital to see Father Karras to end it. And
guess who else goes back to the hospital? Some random priest that we saw once in the movie before.
So here's the problem, right? So in Blatty's cut of the movie,
which was never really released.
Yeah, not until recently on like shitty 140p film or something. Right. It looks terrible. George C. Scott just walks in and shoots Father Karras.
Yeah, flat shot,
and it just ends.
Yeah,
and that's it. It's credits,
which I guess makes sense.
Yeah,
it's logical sense.
Yeah,
for a fairly logical movie.
Mm-hmm. And then the studio said, we don't like that too much. We want an exorcism in The Exorcist.
There's no exorcism in this Exorcist movie. What are you doing, Blatty?
Yeah, so like she said, there's just a random priest. He's thrown in somewhere in the middle of the movie. He's introduced. Yeah. For like 3 seconds.
It's completely disconnected.
We don't know who he is. Do we even know what his name is?
Father Son sign? I don't know. It was something weird and bright. I'm gonna actually look that up.
But he's just randomly thrown in for no apparent reason, and then we finally find out why he was thrown in. Because he's going to be the priest that does the exorcism at the end. And
then he fails the exorcism.
Yeah, and then he fails it.
Well, there's also like just a bit of gore at the very end.
Oh yeah, there is a little bit of practical effects there.
Oh,
he's like stuck on the ceiling, and his skin is like gorilla glued or something.
And like he starts peeling off the ceiling, and you see his like cheek peeling up.
Father Morning.
Father Morning.
It was like Father Son.
So yeah,
it's Solaire.
Yeah, Father Morning is in the movie.
Yeah, for half a second.
Yeah, and he does the exorcism. Doesn't go too well, if I had to say.
Right, he gets absolutely dicked on.
And then George C. Scott walks in, and the priest is stuck on the ceiling. Then he like
falls off
with like half his skin torn off.
Yeah,
and then
he's just sitting in the corner now. Bible's burnt out completely.
Yeah,
and then Gemini Killer's still just sitting
there
on the bench.
And
George C. Scott walks in and is like, actually, I don't know what he does.
Yeah, I think they just talk for a little bit.
Yeah,
and then shit goes down.
Oh, Gemini Killer calls out that he does not believe. He has no faith. And he's like, well, I can make you believe if you really want to do this. And then he forces him up on the wall using his demon telepathy.
Yeah. And then he starts hallucinating or something.
Yes. I don't
to that degree.
Yeah. Like, everything that happens in that cell, I don't think actually happened except for like the telekinesis.
Yeah.
I think the Gemini Killer made George C. Scott see all the shit that happens next.
Yeah, like Father Karras is crucified, and there's a bunch of random people coming up through the floor. Like, what is happening?
I don't know if you noticed. Father Karras is crucified on 2 rowing oars.
Oh yeah, I did notice that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then there's lightning. It's going through the whole hospital.
Like a billion volts of lightning that open up a portal to hell that Father Karras is raised out of.
Yeah. And it's just completely just like not what this movie was going for at all.
Yeah.
But I would say it's earned.
It is earned. And it's also well done.
Yeah, it's not corny.
Yeah.
It's well executed. It's on paper it sounds really dumb.
Yeah.
But it's filmed well.
In podcast brief description, it sounds really dumb.
It does sound
right.
But it also is paired with an amazing George C. Scott monologue about his complete lack of faith in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And
all the movie's themes.
Right.
Pretty much.
He just lays it all out. And then Father Morning says the last bit of the exorcism.
Yep. And then Father Karras comes back for a second.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Shoot me!" And George
shoot me now,
hesitation.
Yeah.
Just caps him, and
yeah,
that's it.
I would like to mention that a little more. How in another movie that would have been played out a little more. It would have been like, oh, Father Karras is now. I can only hold him back for 1 minute.
Yeah, it would have been really melodramatic.
Yeah,
but no, it's like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Just, shoot me now.
Shoot me now. It doesn't even finish the second now.
Yeah.
It's just in the middle of the. Shoot me now.
Yeah.
Shoots him like 4 times with the revolver. It's so good.
And that kills him.
It does, and that ends. I want to say that ends Exorcist 3. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I
don't remember if there's an epilogue or anything. I think it's like straight to credits.
It's just done after that. I'm gonna check my notes and see if there's anything else like specific that I wanted to add in.
I got all my stuff.
Yeah.
Put down my 4 notes.
So, one thing, it's just a bit of trivia or something that I noticed. I might cut it out, but a visual detail. This movie is very good at like consistency. Visual details, consistency with the lore of its universe. So, the Gemini Killer's calling card is it like one hand removed and
one? I think like the ring finger removed on one hand.
The ring finger removed on one hand, and the sign of the Gemini carved into the palm of the other one.
Yeah,
and. What was released to the press at the time was not that. It was the sign of the Gemini
carved on the back,
nothing about the finger.
Yeah.
And so every one of these bodies, you don't see any of the bodies, but you see George C. Scott pick up one side, look at the hand,
walk around to the other,
check the other
hand.
And you see him look at all these bodies.
Yeah.
And then he tells you, sign of the Gemini.
Yeah.
Here.
It's actually just one body.
Here. 2.
The one in the church.
3.
One in the church. Father Dyer.
Black Kid at the very beginning.
And the Black Kid, yeah.
Oh.
And like, at that point the viewer has no idea.
Yeah, but it's explained after you see all these scenes.
Yes.
that the sign is the signs of the Gemini, so...
But that is why George C. Scott is doing it. So I appreciate that kind of like visual consistency. I think there was maybe one more thing. Oh, I would like to note, as a horror movie, I was not scared.
No.
I was
Except that one scene.
Oh, the ceiling scene?
No, the long shot of the hallway.
10-minute shot.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That scared me.
That was really tense.
That's true, yeah.
Besides
tension is scary to me.
That's fair.
Besides that, this is a character study through and through.
Yeah.
It's people talking, and don't expect anything else.
Right, but it has very horrifying themes.
Yes.
And like, I was not scared by this horror movie. I was captivated, horrified, and disturbed.
Which I think that means it's a horror movie. If it's able to disturb you, I think that can also define it as a horror movie.
Yeah.
I guess it's just what do you expect out of a horror movie. If you want jump scares, it's probably isn't for you.
If you're expecting a slasher, spooky demon movie, this is not that.
No.
But it is a horror movie made extraordinarily well, so it gets top marks. It's so good. Might be. It's definitely my favorite movie that I've seen recently.
I would have to agree.
So that's our top one. Is that your number 2?
Yeah, that's my number 2.
Okay. So
my number 1.
Yeah, what is your number 1?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
The original one.
1973, 78, something like that.
Something in there.
The original one. Tobe Hooper.
Yeah.
Fucking Tobe Hooper.
1974.
Okay.
That one. This one has been my favorite because it is it scared me, like, truly. It was very real horror, something that could and was kind of based on loosely, but like it could actually happen. And the way that it led you through the movie, like you were just kind of like terrified the whole like beat for beat. I think like maybe Like, even at the beginning, with the guy coming up into the van.
The beginning.
Like, the hitchhiker.
The beginning
that was
terrifying. It is so good.
So,
like,
yeah.
It's captivating. Like, you're in it.
So in it.
And then, after he gets out of the car, he marks the van, and we don't know what he's marking the van for.
Right.
Until the ending.
So...
The ending-ish.
Yeah. Before we get into it too much, we should probably do a little bit of a synopsis. And this one's super easy to summarize.
Yeah.
Because 2 things happen.
Yeah. So it's like a group of college students.
5 people?
Yeah, I think it's a family.
Or it's something. Younger people.
2 of them are related. The other 3 are just friends.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So a group of younger people are on vacation, something.
They're going to go see...
Going to Woodstock, I don't know.
I think they're going to the wheelchair guy's family home.
Okay. Oh, yes. The decrepit home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're trying to go there. Why? I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Really. So they go there.
Well, on the way there, they pick up a hitchhiker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he
does some fuck shit.
Yeah, we'll get into the fuck shit in a minute.
But he's pivotal to this.
Yeah. He plays a big role.
They end up kicking him out of the van.
Because he's fucking insane.
Yeah.
They keep driving. They come up to a gas station with their car marked from this hitchhiker. And the gas station dude leads them to the old house that just so happens to be next door
to...
I don't know how to describe him.
His name is Leatherface.
To Leatherface, yeah.
To
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
Yeah.
To
the holding of Leatherface, like where he lives, his dwelling,
his abode. Yeah.
So the group of people is like looking at this decrepit house, and then they're gonna go down to like this watering hole.
Yeah.
That's not there anymore.
They slowly break off out of the main group.
Yeah.
And unknowingly make their way over to this neighbor's house and investigate it, and that's when Leatherface enters the film.
Yeah, so like the one Chad guy, he just walks in and he hears like a pig squealing or something.
Yeah,
you don't know what it is. It's off screen.
Crazy shit in the house,
and he walks in. I don't know exactly why he was walking into some stranger's house.
You can't walk into strangers' houses. Let's make that a point. Don't walk into strangers' houses.
Yeah, even if the door's open.
Yeah.
Don't investigate. You're gonna die.
But he walks in to investigate this noise, presumably.
I think so, yeah.
And this is where we see Leatherface for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And
then, I guess the last 45 minutes to an hour can be summed up with these people keep running into Leatherface through various means.
Yep.
And Leatherface is hunting them down.
And then we get
getting chainsawed.
And then we get typical final girl situation. I think this movie may have pioneered that. Don't quote me on that.
I don't remember.
But we get final girl and she escapes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. But
yeah, that
sounds simple, but
it's a very loose summary.
It's masterfully executed.
Yeah.
It's really good.
We didn't even talk about the whole dinner scene.
No, we'll get there.
Yeah,
because a lot happens in that last 45 minutes, but it's basically all one continuous event.
Yeah,
and you can't really. I don't want to break it up just yet, because that's really getting into what is really good about the movie. So, the man in the van. Oh God. Hitchhikers are scary already.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just our generation. I feel like hitchhikers are maybe an older thing that people would do.
Yeah.
You can maybe trust people a little more back then.
Really do that nowadays.
I don't think ever in my life will I ever pick up a hitchhiker.
There was a story I remember in high school. This is off topic. But somebody wrote a book because their daughter and her friend picked up a guy that was hitchhiking, and they both got brutally raped and murdered.
Oh my God!
And this happened in Ohio.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so I'm not gonna. Sorry to any nice hitchhikers.
Yeah. If you're out there,
get a fucking car. Sorry,
you need
bro.
to invest in some form of transport. I'm not helping you. So, They pick up this guy. I don't remember why. Maybe because he's in the middle of a fucking desert.
Yeah. But they do.
They pick him up, and he is very clearly not all there. He is a wild card.
And at first he's just strange, but then it gets crazy.
He goes full deranged.
Yeah, he starts cutting himself with the.
Didn't he steal the
dude in the wheelchair had a pocket knife or something?
Well, he has a camera, and he takes a picture and says, "I took your picture. Pay me for it." You know, he didn't ask for the picture to be taken. And then he takes the guy's knife and cuts him with it. And then,
he literally cuts the dude in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And like at that point, you're like, wow, they're really hurting disabled people. This is gonna be one of those movies.
Yeah. And it's like, in the end, it doesn't sound like it was that bad. But I want to say he was in that van for at least 10 minutes of that movie. Or at least what felt like it.
Yeah.
And the way that character was acting. Oh man. Like,
I don't ever want to be around a person that acts like that.
Yeah. You genuinely don't know what he's willing or going to do. He has no motivation. He has...
Oh, and he's talking about eating head cheese.
What?
Do you remember that?
No.
It's like the gunk inside, like, pig head.
Oh.
Like, because he used to work in a factory or something.
Oh, he was talking about slaughterhouse practices.
Yeah.
And how, now they use
the air gun.
They use an air gun to shoot him, but it doesn't always work. You know what always worked? An old sledgehammer. Just bash the cow's brain in. That really gets them every time.
Ugh.
Oh. Yeah, it's... I noticed after the fact, not a single character feels like they belong in this movie. Like, the 5 kids are fish out of water. They don't belong in this town. They're suburbs or city folk. They're not from around there. But then, every other character that we come along does not feel like they belong in civilized society.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is the clash of those two things creates just every situation is a situation I don't want to be a part of because I don't know what anybody's going to do. There's no way to predict it, and it is so uncomfortable. It's a little bit like House of a Thousand Corpses in that way. Where it's just dirty and grimy and insane.
Yeah.
But this is in a way better way.
Yeah.
Less
Rob Zombie.
Oh yes, less Rob Zombie. Just as crazy.
Yes.
Just portrayed in a different way.
Yeah.
Less on the nose and way more real.
Yeah, it's more real. That's the key. It's like
in a different setting, you'd be like, that person that got in the van, they need help. But right now, I need you the fuck out of my van.
Yeah.
Because you've got a knife, and I don't know what you're gonna do.
Yeah. So they kick him out.
And then they stop at this gas station.
Yeah.
Or, well, after they kick him out, he puts, like, a blood, like, because he had cut himself in the van. He cut himself in the van, and then once they kicked him out, he, like, rubbed his, like, cut self all over the side of the van. And then they go to this gas station.
Because they need gas, presumably, and they also need directions to this old family home, because they don't quite remember where it is. And the guy, unknowingly to us,
at the time,
yeah,
we don't know he's in on it, but he is. He's working with the family, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this podcast, you need to, like, make sure you know that it's going to be spoilers.
Yeah. I mean,
because we're spoiling all of these movies.
These movies are old. The only one that's not is, like...
If you haven't seen them, watch them.
Watch them anyway. Our descriptions are not going to do them justice. You'll get a shit ton out of them. So, where were we? Okay, stop at the gas station, and he points them to that home, which is, it's going fine, as is. They're just exploring this house. And then eventually 2 of them decide to wander off to this old watering hole.
That's
to go for
dry.
a swim. Yeah, it dried out probably eons ago.
Yeah.
They go for a swim, or they don't go.
They go for a walk.
They go for a walk, and they end up next
a farmhouse.
At a farmhouse, basically in the middle of nowhere, but more or less right next to the old family home. And I think what happens is they hear a noise inside that is concerning, and they need directions or they need information. And so the guy goes inside, and an incredible kill happens.
Yeah,
like
it's amazing. It's so unceremonious. That's the best thing about it. It just happens.
It's refreshing.
No musical stings. Nothing.
Yeah.
It just happens.
He just gets hit with the chainsaw, like straight down in the head, right?
No, he gets hit with the hammer, and then he starts like convulsing, and then he hits him again,
and then he just drags him away as he's still convulsing. I think.
Yeah,
it's like
and then he like slams the door in that iconic shot,
and then the girl goes in.
Yeah, and then she gets put up on a meat hook.
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Can you play as Leatherface in Dead by Daylight?
Yes. Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's overpowered.
It's the only one that's actually fitting for putting people up on those hooks.
But yeah,
we could make a lot of game references for this movie. Two main ones: Dead by Daylight and Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
For something that we'll talk about later. I might get into that.
So she gets put up on a meat hook, and then they cut back to the family home.
Yeah. So, I guess I'd like to point out real quick. We watched Friday the 13th. We watched
Part 2.
Yeah, Part 2. We watched
with Jason's mom.
We watched Nightmare on Elm Street. We've seen a lot of... Oh, and we watched, like, Halloween.
Yeah, we watched Halloween, too.
We've seen a lot of gratuitous kills. A fair amount.
Yeah.
We watched... Is it Johnny Depp that explodes into a fountain of blood on his bed?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he gets sucked in.
Yeah. There are so many incredibly fun and creative kills in a lot of these movies that we watched.
Slasher movies, specifically.
Yes, slasher movies. The first kill of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the fact that there is no fanfare for it, and it simply just happens, is refreshing.
Yeah.
And it makes it stand out way more.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot scarier.
It is. Because it's like, that's just what would happen.
Yeah.
There's no horror stings. You just die.
He steps into frame from behind the door and bonks him.
And your brain just starts freaking the fuck out.
This 7-foot giant.
Yeah.
Weighs like 400 pounds.
And he's wearing somebody else's skin.
He's literally wearing somebody else's fucking face.
Yeah.
And you don't know what he's doing. You don't know why he's doing it. And he just overpowers you immediately.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
And he's also really fast, too. We see that later in the movie.
Oh my god. That's also... This is a horror movie, a slasher movie, that has most of the slasher movie tropes, but also ignores the very important ones to its benefit. It's so good.
We've actually argued whether or not we think it's a slasher movie.
Yeah, because of what it ignores and what it follows. So, I don't remember exactly the order of the kills. I think somebody else goes in, and she's not on the meat hook anymore, and there's a person in the freezer.
I think it's her.
Is it her?
Yeah, it's
she's
her.
in the freezer. She's alive though, right? I think she wakes up for a second. I could be wrong.
Doesn't he open the freezer and doesn't he bonk her again or something? I don't remember.
Yeah, so Leatherface comes in, kills him. I don't remember how exactly. I don't think it's super important. But then we're left with two. We're left with
wheelchair
and final girl.
Sister.
Yeah. And it's dark out now, and the other people haven't come back, and they're like, well, let's go kind of start figuring out where they went, see if we can go round them up. And Wheelchair insists that he must join, and
yeah. Well, he gets obliterated almost immediately.
He does. Leatherface. So I'll point this out within the context of other slashers first. Michael Myers, slow walk.
Mm-hmm.
Freddy Krueger, slow walk, teleport, dream sequences.
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees.
He runs in part 2.
He runs.
I think they adopted the trope in the later bad sequels.
Yes, but he does a job.
Yeah.
Leatherface.
He barrels towards everyone,
wielding a running chainsaw.
Yeah.
Vertically, wearing somebody's face, an apron. He's 7 foot. He's 7 foot, 400 pounds. Running faster than you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a wheelchair.
You stand no chance.
Yeah.
You don't stand at all, in fact.
Yeah.
So
he just charges the guy in the wheelchair.
So he charges him, rams
just fucking cuts him in half.
Yeah. Just rams the chainsaw.
Like head down too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or straight into the chest. And
we don't really see it.
Yeah, it's shot from the back.
Low budget. They didn't have money for that, so
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do. I certainly did. That was fucked.
Yeah.
So now we're down to Final Girl.
Then starts the 45-minute chase sequence.
Yeah.
Well, Final Girl is abducted.
Yeah, so we get a 15-minute chase sequence, then she gets abducted, and then another chase sequence.
I don't think this is one continuous shot. I can't imagine that it would be. It feels like it.
Yeah.
Because you are following her for the next half of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So she sees her brother get decimated by this fucking chainsaw-wielding ogre of a man. And then she runs. She's gone. She runs maybe into the house. I don't even remember.
She somehow loops around.
She runs to all the movie locations that you've been.
Yeah, she's running in the woods for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, runs in the woods.
And then she runs into the house.
Runs into the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
To seek help. Gets help from the guy running it. And you think he's a good guy. And then he says, put this bag over your head and tie yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
And get in my truck. And then you're
like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
He's one of them.
Yeah. Oh, I was caught completely off guard. Mm-hmm. Like, I knew he was a little creepy, but I did not think he was in on it. And then at this point, is this the point where the skinny guy shows back up?
Yeah, I think so.
So, skinny guy that got in the van earlier comes back. They abduct Final Girl, and they go to the house. Leatherface's house. And then ensues
the dinner.
So it's Leatherface, gas station attendant, and crazy guy hitchhiker.
And the really old guy.
Yeah, they introduce Papa.
Yeah.
Or whatever his name
we
was.
see him earlier in the movie. Actually, when Final Girl runs into the house, and she goes upstairs, and there's like, you think they're corpses, but one of them's alive, apparently.
He's full Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
He is a living corpse. He has his pulse, his BPM is fucking 15.
So they're all at dinner. The 3 guys at one end or I guess the 4 guys at one end of the table, and the girl tied up in a chair at the other end of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like talking and like arguing and going just nuts. It's very unsettling, very disturbing.
A la Resi 7.
Yes. Very much the opening of Resident Evil 7 is a recreation of this scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, down to, the shouting, the fucked up food.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to feed her people.
Yeah.
I think they're cannibals. I think they feed her people.
Mm-hmm.
And, old person in a wheelchair that doesn't say much, but you sense that maybe they've got a little more going on than they're willing to say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's Resi 7. Well, Resi 7 is this.
Yes.
Whatever.
I don't remember how, but she escapes.
Well, at some point, they're trying to get the old man to kill something. You remember that?
Yeah.
Sorry,
we watched these movies all of October, so we don't exactly remember every little
20
detail.
days ago.
So
this was on night 1.
Yeah.
So this was October 1st that we watched this, and Friday, October 1st, and as of recording, it's 2:52 a.m. October 30th.
So like a whole month ago.
Yeah,
we
basically.
watched this. I'm surprised at how much I'm not surprised at how much we remember because it's such a good movie.
That's true. It's very true.
But they're trying to get Grandpa to kill her.
Is it her?
Because, and they're saying, like, you can kill her like you did, like, in the old times. Like, he used to do this, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. What the skinny guy was talking about in the car, about bashing something's head open with a hammer, is in reverence to that old man and how he used to bash people's heads open in one go like that. And he's the best at it. He's really good.
So
meanwhile, he can't hold the fucking hammer.
Yeah, so then Leatherface and Hitchhiker Guy are trying to get Grandpa to kill her again, and I think she escapes.
Yeah, something has she busts out of her bonds. Something, and she goes out the front window. And
I think is it morning now?
It is morning.
It is morning.
It's like dawn.
Yeah.
And she runs out into the street, or she gets chased around a little more and then runs out in the street.
Well, this is the 45-minute chase sequence now.
No, this has been going on ever since Wheelchair Guy died.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
It's all just one big.
45-minute chase sequence is from Wheelchair Guy through chase, through gas station, through dinner.
Oh, that's window. Right. I forgot.
So yeah, it's one unending hellscape.
Yeah. And you just feel so bad.
Yeah.
She's just fucking terrified. And it's just so painful to watch.
It's so strange. Like during the dinner scene, the family is fighting amongst themselves. So each one of them individually is a wild card. You have no idea what any of them are going to do. But now you have no idea the power dynamic between these people, and they're associated. They're family. They fight with each other, and you're caught in the middle of it. And the only thing they have in common is killing you. And you're just hoping to God that they fight with each other long enough for you to get away.
And I think we get some kind of crazy editing too during this sequence. Like, I think we get some close-ups on her eyes, just like fucking going all over the place.
It's so unsettling.
It is. This might be a little bit pretentious. I'll allow it though.
I think we're all kind of pretentious, so
that's fine.
It's okay.
We're doing a movie podcast.
In the way that she was trapped in the movie is similar to, like, I felt enraptured. I felt a little bit trapped by that scene. Like, I felt constricted and fully captivated.
You're right, that was pretentious.
Thank you.
Well, you feel for her.
You do.
I mean, like, they do a very good job of putting you in her shoes. I mean, that's basically the goal of the movie, right?
It is.
And they do it very well in this movie.
So successful that it's my number one.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
I genuinely felt the most uncomfortable, the most disturbed, and the most horrified for this movie.
Yeah. Everything in that movie is fucking dirty.
It's so
grimy.
It's a very dirty feeling movie. It's well made.
I wanted to take a fucking shower.
Yeah, it's just.
I saw that.
Like, you got film grain. It just makes it look so gross.
Yeah.
And it fits so well.
It does. It really does.
Let's finish this off. She escapes and she ends up getting, like, a car on the road to stop and pick her up. And she gets away with them. And that's the end of the movie.
And then you get Leatherface doing some sort of dance with his chainsaw.
Yeah, he's freaking the fuck out.
In a suit.
Yeah.
Wearing something's face.
Yeah. Probably your friend.
In a wig, too, I think.
I
think he has a black wig on.
He might.
Yeah, I think he has, like, different faces for different settings. So, like, at the dinner scene, he had on, like, a face that had, like, lipstick on and, like, makeup on with, like, a black wig. So I think that was, like, his mom character.
Yeah. I would also like to mention, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but this movie says nothing about Leatherface, like, actually wearing people's faces. Right?
Right. No.
Is that all just like a sequel thing?
He just is wearing people's faces in the movie.
Well, I know, but, like, that's the thing with it's just maybe you think he has a fucked up face. Like, it's never really explained in this movie that he wears people's faces.
In this movie, nobody has any motivation.
Yeah.
It just stands as is, and you are just thrust into the insanity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that
might have been a sequel
the
thing.
context is probably all sequel stuff.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
squeeze every drop of content out of a
I
franchise.
just assumed it was other people's faces.
No, I mean, as to why.
Well, we knew that before going in.
So, like, is it because he wants to? Is it because his face is fucked up? What's like the Leatherface lore?
Oh,
yeah. We don't know.
I don't even care about that.
Exactly. We don't know anything about Leatherface in this movie,
right?
Like,
I don't even think
we don't need to.
No, we don't need to.
Is he
For it to be
credited as Leatherface?
I actually don't know.
Like,
kind of like how Michael Myers is credited as the Shape.
Yeah.
In
Am
Halloween.
I in the right movie?
Leatherface,
he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gunnar Hansen.
So,
what a beast of a man.
I don't think that name is ever said once.
I don't think so.
Just
probably call him boy.
He has leather on his face.
Mm-hmm. Human leather.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is so efficient in what it's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and it's like an hour 20 minutes long. It gets right to the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It does not need a sequel or a remake. It feels like in today's day and age, that ending would be sequel bait, where Leatherface is like, oh,
yeah,
still out there.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically,
realistically, she probably like got the cops and like sent out like a SWAT team or something.
Yeah, they just raid the house
and
it's over. But like, as a standalone, in an exercise in just pure insanity and grime, it's so good. 5-star. Yeah, I'd say 5-star. This was tied with Exorcist 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like Exorcist 3 more. I want to watch that one sooner than Texas Chainsaw.
As much as I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I don't think I want to see it again.
Ever?
No, not ever. Just not like soon. Just because it did make me feel uncomfortable and all of the things that I don't want to feel.
Yeah, which makes it an effective horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was not spooked. I was scared because of how realistic it was.
Yeah.
And the context in which it was presented. There's no paranormal aspect. This is just people being insane. And that this could happen, is frightening.
Mm-hmm.
And
it did happen.
Right, of course. Yeah, it did. Kind of, maybe.
I don't know.
Sort of.
I don't know the true story, so I can't really say much on that.
Maybe it's a bit of Ed Gein. I think he ate people. A bit of the Buffalo Bill, which is a fictional character, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of them were loosely based on probably the same person.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Great movie.
Yeah, go watch it. It's like, God, it's almost 50 years old.
Is it really?
In 3 years, it will be 50 years old.
My God.
We're fucking boomers. Jesus.
But yeah, this is definitely my favorite movie of the 17 that we watched this month.
Yeah. So the three of us basically have the same top two. Just yours is reversed.
Mine is Texas Chainsaw, then The Exorcist 3. Yeah. Your guys' is Exorcist 3, then Texas Chainsaw, right?
Yeah, we're character people. We like people talking.
Yeah.
We like the Hateful Eight a lot. So
yes.
We like to just see people talk for 2.5 hours.
Or Vast of Night.
Yeah.
Honorable mention for people talking in a horror movie.
Watch that.
We didn't watch it this month, so we're not going to cover it properly. Go watch it.
Hey.
Now everybody's third is different, I think.
I'm not even sure that
I don't know what
has been decided on.
I don't know what mine is. I have like 4.
Yeah.
For 3.
Well, mine's decided on, so we can...
Yeah, you got it.
My third is Scream.
Okay.
I really like this movie. I gave it 4.5 stars. I like that it... Should we give a synopsis first, or like...
You can go ahead and say kind of what you liked about it, and then we'll give it a synopsis. I might swap it in editing.
Okay. I liked that it was an homage to other horror movies. Or like other slasher movies. And that was kind of like what the director Wes Craven was doing when he made the film. He incorporated other slasher movies to make a new slasher movie, and it was fun.
It was.
It was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't say it was like scary, but like it is also kind of playing on real horror. Like this is something that could really happen.
Yeah,
and that always, I always find enjoyment in something that I could see being real horror. That is what makes a good horror movie for me.
I think this, out of the 17, may have been the most, like, genuinely entertaining movie.
Oh, yeah. It's so meta.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, Wes Craven, he directed Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
So, I don't know how many times A Nightmare on Elm Street is referenced in this.
Wes Craven himself.
Wes Craven is in it, wearing the red and black stripes that Freddy Krueger wears.
As the school janitor.
As a janitor.
He literally plays.
And his name is Fred.
Yeah.
Like the character credit is listed as Fred.
Like if that's not obvious enough, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Doesn't one of the characters say Wes Carpenter at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wes Craven, John Carpenter. It's a lot. It's so much fun to watch.
It is. There's a horror movie reference approximately every 10 seconds.
It gets, I will say,
it's a bit
one
gripe.
It gets a little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah. But okay, if it was just them constantly referencing it, it'd be like, oh, this is just a scary movie. Like, yeah. Like, this is just satire and without substance.
Mm-hmm.
But it has its own plot.
It does. It has its own plot, and like you said, there's a horror movie built into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, is playing at one point during the film, and is not only lining up with events in the movie.
Yeah.
The movie playing on the TV screen in the living room is interacting with the characters in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And at
one point, I think he's screaming, like, Jamie Lee's behind you or something, while Ghostface is behind the guy on the couch or something like that.
Yeah. And when the killer is looking for the person in the house, he hears Jamie Lee on the TV in the closet, kind of squealing, and is, like, distracted by it, and goes towards that instead of where they are. So it's not just referential. It is fully integrated. And there's this very important difference. And a sharp increase in quality if you achieve that.
Yeah.
And they poke fun at other horror movies, too. So, like, I would say it's a horror comedy.
Yeah, it is. It's a horror comedy. Like, at one point they say, why are you going up, why would the girl be going up the stairs instead of out the front door? And then 5 minutes later,
she proceeds to do just that.
Right. She's forced into doing that because the front door is either locked or blocked or the guy's there. And she has to run up the stairs. But then she does it in such a way where it breaks the trope where she's not trapped. She fucking barricades the door with another door and gets out the window or something like that. So I'd say it's pretty smart. Like, I think it's clever.
It is.
So, synopsis.
So, the beginning of the movie, you have Drew Barrymore at home alone, and she gets a call from someone that's eventually is like threatening to kill her, and like he ends up killing her boyfriend on the back porch, and she ends up getting killed by a mysterious serial killer we don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, he plays trivia games with her.
Horror movie trivia.
I guess I should mention that this is part of.
Yeah, like this killer's real into horror movies. And one of the questions is, who was the killer in Halloween? Myers, clearly. Who was the killer in Friday the 13th? We had, I think this is the same night, we had just watched Friday the 13th Part 2, maybe 2 movies prior to this in the same night. And we're like, oh, fuck, it's not Jason. It's not Jason. It's not Jason. And she gets that fucking question wrong. Like, it's so weird being able to interact as an audience with the movie in that way, having just seen that movie. So I thought that was neat.
So, after that, like, news and media is, like, showing up to her school and everything, trying to interview people that knew her. And there was a girl a year prior, her mom was brutally raped and murdered. And there's a reporter that's trying to write a book based on that, and they don't like each other.
The teen whose mom was brutally raped and murdered does not like the reporter. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
you might be getting a bit too deep into that.
Yeah.
So
it's just like killings go on.
Killings go on in a small town.
Yeah.
And high school kids have to survive and or try and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it all culminates with a house party where killer shows up, and then there's the big reveal at the end.
There's two killers, actually.
Yeah, it's two killers.
And they're both friends/boyfriend.
Yeah.
With our protagonist.
Yes.
So.
And one of them ends up stabbing the other one to make it look like the killer was her dad.
I think they stab each other.
Yeah, but one of them stabs him, like, in a bad place.
They do their damnedest to not stab any vital organs, and I think one missed.
Yeah, and he ends up, like, dying because of it. So.
Yeah.
It's Shaggy from the live-action Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Matthew Lillard.
Yeah. He's great in this role.
He's so fun. He's just...
This is like the perfect movie for him.
He's just out of his goddamn mind the whole movie. It's so energetic. Like, the energy he brings to a horror movie is so fun, and that's not something I thought I'd ever appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and apparently these two kids were also the same ones that killed her mom a year prior.
Yes.
That is also revealed.
So, let's see. It's hard to do a synopsis of story.
Yeah.
Because it is quite twisty.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to do it the way that I was trying to do it. We wouldn't have ever gotten through it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll stick with the teens in the town to
deal
with the killer.
It is nice not knowing who the killers are until the end.
Yes. That is nice.
They keep that very well hidden. You don't, like, there's not really any way of knowing.
So.
Like, they try and lead you to one person. One of the guys that is actually the killer early on, but he gets out of it somehow. And so, like, nobody suspects him anymore.
Yes. Okay, I know what you're referencing.
And the other guy, they just never suspect at all.
Oh, right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick, the point about not knowing who the killer is, I thought it was interesting that in a lot of the main slashers that we watched, you know who the killer is, and the killer is present. The problem is that you don't know how to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, we have no idea who the killer is. There is no supernatural element to it. We just don't know who he is, and we can't figure this shit out. Because the only suspect we have has a rock fucking solid alibi.
Yeah.
Of being in jail when another killing happened or when it was on a phone call.
Yeah. So that's where having two killers perpetrating one guy.
Yes, yeah.
It's a nice twist.
It is. It is. There's a lot of really good twists in this.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that the twists pan out really feels like, and it was very well thought out, and it was well thought out from the context that killers enjoy horror movies, and that's where they learn this shit from.
Yeah.
They learned all the tropes so that they could twist them to their own benefit. They figured out to chase the girl upstairs instead of let her out the front door, and to, like, basically give alibis to both of them at the same time. And I don't know, it's really quite clever. And
this movie's very meta.
It is.
And it's not like annoying meta.
I really liked the opening sequence.
Yeah.
Like, it's really fucked what happens to Drew Barrymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they got Drew Barrymore, who was like popular actress at the time. You don't expect her to get killed.
Yeah, I think
in 5 minutes.
I don't know if this is actually true.
Okay.
But I do remember hearing from somewhere that she was kind of plastered all over the marketing for this movie.
Mm.
So she was marketed as, like, the protagonist.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe she was originally meant to be the protagonist, but they found like somebody else to fill the role.
Could be, or it could have been
just
part
to
of
subvert expectations.
Yeah, because like this is, I think it's a really cool sequence of her like being dragged and choked
while her parents are like right there,
so that she can't scream.
Mm-hmm.
And her parents are her parents are pulling in as she's being dragged around the side. She is gasping for air, literally 5 feet away from them, and they can't see her because they're distracted by the destruction inside the home. And they go in and they go into the house and investigate long enough for her to be hanged in the tree out front. It's like they were right there, and it was so fucking close. And like, I don't know. I don't think I have a whole lot to say about Scream.
It's just a good, fun movie.
It is.
It's not like a masterful piece of cinema.
Right.
It's just a good movie.
It's fun, and if you enjoy like classic slashers, this is a really, really fun and interesting subversion and recreation of all those tropes that are built into the movie, done by a person who helped define the genre.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of fun, and it was a candidate for my top 3.
Me as well.
I mean, I got a lot out of it. I just don't have a lot to say about it because it was just entertaining.
I will say this was chosen as one of my top 3, not because I think it's one of the best films that we watched, but because I liked it as one of the most.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should clarify. These
are
are our favorites,
not what we think.
Not what we think's the best.
We will. I know we mentioned the list at the top, but we'll probably go through and have some honorable mentions of like high quality horror films that we watched that we didn't necessarily get a lot out of from on a personal level that, you know, might be better or worse than some of our favorites and other shit on the list. So, do you have a third?
I think I do. So
now it's your guys' turn.
Yeah,
I have like 4 of them in running for third.
Okay,
but I think I'm gonna put The Witch at number 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know what else to say up front. It's just amazing. It is. Like, it's one of the most disturbing films I've ever watched, I think.
This may also be my number 3.
Okay.
Currently undecided. I'll give it a look after we're done talking about The Witch.
Okay.
But I like this movie for the opposite reason that I like the other 2. My other 2 top 3, Texas Chainsaw and Exorcist 3. Those 2 I like by illustrating the horror of humankind and realism.
This, on the other hand,
I love The Witch because it made me feel completely disconnected from reality because of the supernatural element. I was not sure what was real. In a very realistic setting, I could not trust anything. For a while, I didn't know if anything actually was happening. Like, if anything was paranormal or supernatural. Like, yeah.
You see an old naked lady
like,
running with the baby, but she could just be batshit.
Right. I mean, she was quick.
Yeah.
She was speedy. Like, in between peekaboos. But...
Yes.
And, like, that could have... The other one that, what's his name?
Caleb,
thank you. The young one that Caleb saw could realistically be a different person entirely.
Yes.
Just living in the woods, not the decrepit old woman. So, you cannot trust what they're saying is actually happening. The characters are lying to each other, the film is not being super clear to you. So, I really appreciated that complete disconnection in stark contrast to Texas Chainsaw and Exorcist 3, where you very clearly know exactly what is happening.
Yeah, and it's also, it also doesn't help that they're speaking Old English the entire time.
Yeah.
So,
haven't a fucking clue.
Yeah, it's very hard to follow sometimes. I've seen this multiple times, so
yeah.
Like,
this was my first time seeing it.
Yeah, how did you feel about it?
I really liked it. I like like how dark it is the whole time. Like, it's like a dark theme, but then it's also like the film is just so dark. Like, it's so gloomy.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is quite dark.
It made me... The thing that made me feel the most tense was the score.
Score is fantastic.
This is one of the best scores in a film that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
They did. Do you have anything specific about the score? I have one thing.
Well, I was going to say, it's kind of like The Shining in a way, where the score is very, very unsettling, where nothing's really happening on screen.
Right.
It's just very, very creepy music to nothing.
Yeah.
But it still makes you feel uneasy.
Yeah.
Like, all of this, like, there's like a shot of a rabbit. Mm-hmm. But the score's freaking the fuck out, which means I'm freaking the fuck out.
Something's wrong with that rabbit.
Something has to be. If the score's doing this,
yeah,
it appeals to my monkey brain.
And I'm assuming that's Black Phillip. That's what they're implying.
I think so.
So, because that rabbit pops up 3-4 times in the movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm assuming that's what they're implying. I'm not sure.
Oh, you know, it might be witches usually have familiars.
Oh, okay.
So it might be that.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
It's usually like the black cat. It's an extension of the witch's will in animal form. So yeah, might be that. Might be Black Phillip. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Rabbit's fucked up because the score's freaking out.
Right.
There was one, not even one shot, just one thing that they did several times in this movie with the score that really got under my skin is when the score overpowers the sound effects in the film, and the sound effects and the dialogue drop out completely, but you can see that they're still happening. So characters will be laughing or talking, or, you know, interacting with the environment so that there should be footsteps, anything. But it's just an unnerving score on top of it, and you can just, it's so freaky, because it just completely... For me, it just completely disconnected me in such a way that it just disturbed me.
This movie's very disturbing.
Yeah.
It's a slow, methodical movie. It is taking its sweet, sweet time.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's not even, like, anything... Okay, there's disturbing scenes in the movie, but overall, there's less disturbing scenes in the movie than there is, like, the feeling of disturbed.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say this. This is a family drama with a witch in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to see our favorite movies.
Yeah.
Tend to be not horror movies. Yeah. I'm sorry. Our favorite horror movies aren't really horror movies. Yeah. They're other movie types with horror themes.
Yeah. And it's carried. Well, it's not carried because the script is very tight and it's very well shot and everything's really good. Yeah. But the performances in this are so good, even by the kids. Usually kids in movies are like terrible.
Yeah, those little twins.
The twins
did a great job.
Twins are fucking annoying.
They were perfect little shitheads.
Yeah, Caleb's very good. Especially when he's like possessed or whatever the fuck's going on. When he dies there, he's like, he's popping off. Like he's and then we get what's her name? Anya Taylor-Joy? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Thomason.
The one...
I think this is her debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomason. I think this is her debut. Don't quote me. But it's definitely very early on in her career.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's young
kills
in
it.
Stellar as basically the lead. Maybe co-leads with the father. I'm not sure who actually gets more screen time.
The father's amazing too.
Oh my god, his sweet voice.
It's so good. Does he actually sound like that?
I hope so.
Should we give a synopsis of the movie?
We might as well. I can throw it in at the front.
Yeah. So it's where are we at in this? Are we in Jamestown? I don't remember.
Georgetown.
No, not Georgetown.
So it's 1930.
1630.
1630. It's 1630 apparently.
Yeah.
And we're at a pilgrim.
New England. It's 16.
Yeah, we're in New England.
We've got the Pilgrims, new settlers over in the New World. It would be, I think it's the Protestants that came over instead of facing the king in England. came over and settled and made their new home in the New World, and this family, for whatever reason, I think it was for religious reasons.
Yeah, he said they're not true Christians.
Yes, which is true. They are Protestants.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the line was, but religious problems.
Yeah, they get kicked out of town and have to go to live on the frontier, which does not go well. To say the least.
Yeah, that's why we got a movie.
Yeah, a movie happens because it doesn't go well.
Actually, I know I said it was slow, but shit happens like almost immediately
and pretty consistently.
Yeah,
it's not over the top.
Yeah,
it's just basic problems that have a lot of meaning within the context of the movie.
So the thing that goes wrong is their baby son goes like missing.
Little baby son. Poof.
Gone. Actually right in front of her face.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't looking, she was playing peekaboo or whatever, but
in between
instantly the baby's gone.
Yeah. And then there's like rustling in the trees fucking 50 feet away within 2 seconds. Something like that.
That's a very speedy baby snatcher.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we get a little montage of what we assume is a witch. I don't really...
That's right.
Yeah, we get a montage of what we're supposed to think is a witch based on the title, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Everyone's thinking.
It is a witch.
And then she takes the baby back. She's like old hag, water hag.
Water hag from Witcher, yeah.
Just nasty.
Grave hag.
Yeah. And takes the baby back to her hut and rubs it all over.
Does she? Is it implied she cuts off its penis?
I don't know. She kind of grinds it to a paste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole baby is now a jelly.
Yeah.
A jam, if you will.
Yes, a jam. Baby jam. And she rubs it all over herself, and the next time you see her, she's young.
Yeah.
So presumably.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that. I just thought she was kind of like, you just take on whatever form that she wants.
Yeah. Doing witch magic, I think it's implied that she's using the essence of life.
An unbaptized child.
Yeah.
They say that a couple times in this.
As a great skin clarifying routine.
Yeah.
Hi, this is my new skincare routine.
It requires the blood of the innocent, the fleshy paste of an unbaptized child.
That sentence made.
But yeah, that happens.
That does happen.
And then it's kind of just all downhill from there.
It's all just family interactions.
Yeah.
Tension that builds from, you lost her. Our child was lost on your watch. It's your fault. How'd you lose it to a fucking wolf, you idiot? It's like, it wasn't a wolf. It's too fast.
Yeah.
So the daughter kind of knows something's up. Something ain't right.
And then it's just kind of a domino effect at this point. Bad shit after bad shit keeps happening. We could explain every single event that happens, but we'd be here forever.
Heck yes. Yeah.
So it eventually...
People go in the woods. People come back. People don't come back. People interact with a witch.
Yeah.
People aren't sure if there is a witch. Very pious people are very sure there's a witch.
People blame Tomlinson.
It's basically the Crucible.
Yes.
But condensed to a family instead of a town, and nobody has religious authority because they're all questioning their own faith anyway. So that's a major twist. That's there's a lot of movies that will just copy, it's the Crucible. It's just the Salem witch trials again. But this is it is a witch trial within that home. But the very important twist is that none of them have religious authority. You can't actually decide who is the witch. It could be they're all lying.
Yeah, they all lie to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scene where the twins are like, I can't say my prayers. I'm not sure if they were actually possessed or if they...
In retrospect, I'm not. But as I was
or
watching
if they were
it,
just pretending to...
You're full of shit.
Yeah, at first I thought that. But then later in the film, when like, she's like, so you actually talked to Black Phillip?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah.
And at the end,
I was like, oh, fuck. They might have not been kidding. They couldn't say their prayers.
Right. And I'm like, oh, wait, they're the witches. They're talking, like, now in retrospect, they're the fuckers talking to Black Phillip. Mm-hmm. They're the witches, and they don't know it.
Because they're innocent.
They're just kids. Mm-hmm. And then there's all this stuff about, like, I don't know if it's still, it probably is, still like a kind of a big religious controversy of if a child dies before they're baptized or before they have a chance to repent their sins, they default to hell because they didn't get to do those things, even though they haven't had a chance to accumulate any sin. If you believe a child is born with sin. Yeah. So it's like the family is struggling with that because they think their kid's in hell, and some of them do and don't, and it's like, it's so just stressful. And there does happen to be a demon in it at the very end. Like, I was not
Black Phillip.
Yeah. Like, devil's here.
Yeah, he's the mastermind behind all this.
Yeah.
I was so unsuspecting of the goat.
Yeah.
I really should have suspected the goat a little bit more, I think.
Yeah. I did not, upon rewatching it, I had forgotten a lot of the stuff about it because I'd seen it when it came out. I forgot that the witch and the devil are real.
Oh. Okay.
I really thought this was just no witches, no nothing, family freaking the fuck out, and maybe somebody's tripping on acid on accident. Like, somebody took some shrooms and lost the baby. Maybe Caleb got lost in the woods, ate a mushroom and tripped out because he's horny and found out.
Yeah, because he's checking out his sister the entire movie.
Yeah. And then
very strange.
Well, until he dies.
Well,
that's true.
Right.
He does die.
He does die.
Gloriously.
Yeah.
He spits out a rotten apple.
Yeah. There's a lot of I'll have to think about this a little more. I can think of two examples that characters die, or in their dying moments have hints of their sin or hubris brought up. So Caleb lies about the apple tree to his mother, saying that's why they were away, but really they went in the woods. So, and his dying moments, he coughs up an apple. And the father, who through the whole movie is unable to hunt, he fucks up shooting a rifle, he fucks up the crop.
The only thing he can do is chop wood.
Yes. And how does he die?
He gets crushed by a fuck ton of logs that he chopped.
That he chopped. His own hubris, that giant log pile that he made, crushed him to death. Yeah.
I never actually noticed that. That's a good point.
I don't know, maybe with the little kids' trust in Black Phillip, the goats, maybe got them killed. Yeah. In the goat barn. I'm not certain. And the mother,
she just gets whacked.
Oh. I mean, even that, her certainty that Thomason is the witch gets her killed by Thomason. Thomason would not have killed her if she was not so certain and that she was the witch.
She was the one, even though the mother was the one that had the fucking crow pecking at her nipple.
Oh my god. Yeah. This movie is a masterful example of a few seconds of just strange and disturbing imagery, and then cutting away, or giving it context or not. Like the little kid talking. There's like a close-up shot of Black Phillip, the goat,
and whispering in his ear.
And there's just the little kid's mouth going ba 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 ba, and then. If that would have cut, that would have been the creepiest shit I've ever seen. But it didn't. And then she just proceeds to go on like it's normal. But then there's the dream sequence of the mother, who I think she's the witch also. Because she signed the fucking book.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. She signed the book in the dream. Because the ghost of her children said, "Do you see a book in front of you, mother?" Yeah. And then it cuts to, a crow picking at her nipple, and she's just sitting there dazed and laughing, smiling, having the goddamn time of her life because she's in a dream sequence from the devil. It's like, either these people are losing their minds or the devil's fucking real. Good movie.
It is good. Yeah. I like Robert Eggers a lot.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Well, your other favorite movie is Lighthouse, yeah?
Yeah, we didn't watch that this month, but it's like,
it's a horror movie.
All my favorite movies are horror movies, but this is like a top 4 horror movie. Or Lighthouses. Yeah, anyway. Mainly because I like Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson losing their mind in a lighthouse.
That's fair.
In 4x3. Black and white.
So you like the Lighthouse.
Yeah. But Robert Eggers is very good. He's very talented in his craft. The amount of research that had to go into this movie, just for the dialogue alone, is astounding. Like, they even say at the end credits that all the research they had to do just to get accurate.
I think all of the dialogue was pulled directly from documents of the time.
Those actors did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that's true too.
This movie and Fast of Night, what we talked about earlier, are wonderful examples of like period correct dialogue. It's so cool. It's so fun.
Would this be considered a character study as well?
I don't know the exact definition of a character study.
I'd call it one, personally. A family drama?
Yeah.
I would call it a family drama. With a witch.
With a witch in it, yeah. Is it time for me to decide my...
Yeah, I think so.
So I was going to default to the witch.
We still can't.
I'm not going to do that. I don't want to have the same... I'd feel bad having the same movies as you, exactly, in the same order.
I mean, we have similar taste.
It could be the case, but I think...
it is the case.
It's tied with a bunch of other stuff,
yeah.
So I'd like to take the opportunity to talk about something else.
Okay.
So,
feeling.
What's your feeling?
The Thing?
Could be. Yeah, I guess my number 3 has got to be The Thing. Like, it's tied with Scream in a sense, out of, the entertainment that I got out of it, and it's tied with Exorcist in a way, where I got a lot out of Exorcist, I just didn't like it as much.
It also has Kurt Russell.
It has Kurt Russell. We need to have Kurt Russell night.
Yeah.
Me too.
Kurt Russell's amazing. He's the greatest actor of all time.
He might be my favorite. He plays a good Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
He is kind of the same in every movie that he's in.
Except for apparently Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, he plays a blubbering idiot.
Yeah. I don't know what I want to say about The Thing. I don't have anything to add on The Thing.
It's a great film.
Its practical effects are incredible.
I'd call it probably a technically perfect movie. It perfectly displays the theme of paranoia.
There really isn't much to say about this movie, I don't think.
There's not much to add.
It's just a really good movie with really good effects.
Yeah, incredible effects. It is a testament to the importance of practical effects.
They don't make movies like they used to.
They don't, and it's a damn shame because this movie is so incredible and so creative in its visuals.
Go watch it. Good.
Yeah.
Watch John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, yeah.
Not the remake.
Definitely his best movie, I think, is the general consensus.
Yeah.
So
either that or Halloween.
Shall we get into the honorable mentions?
Yeah.
For good movies that didn't quite make our top 3s.
So I don't have any.
Okay. One of mine would have been Scream. And The Witch, of course. And Exorcist 1.
Which we don't have to talk about Exorcist 1. We can just...
I just want to acknowledge these movies. We list them, and then they're not in the top 3, and it's going to be like, where the fuck are they then? I recognize all of those as either very good, like, on a technical level, or very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't quite meet the mark of both for me. Honorable mention for Alien.
Mm-hmm.
Good movie.
I do like Alien a lot.
Basically the same premise as The Thing.
Yeah.
Just in space.
Yep. Pretty much it.
Yeah, and just more futuristic, more sci-fi.
Yeah, more sci-fi for sure. More retrofuturism.
Mm-hmm.
Really awesome set design.
Oh my
in
god.
Alien. Like, holy shit.
Giger's amazing. H.R. Giger, I think. It's his name.
Giger.
You lost.
Yeah. Geiger counter?
So it's Giger then? Because
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the name of a person.
Oh, okay.
It's H.R. Giger is the guy that visual style.
Oh.
I think specifically of the alien ship. I could be wrong.
Okay. I gotcha. I thought you were talking about the radiation thing.
No, that is the Geiger.
That's why I was so confused.
So what are your honorable mentions?
Are you done?
Oh, yeah.
Sure you don't? You're not missing one?
Well, I know you're going to say it.
Okay. Yeah. I got a couple. Evil Dead 2. They don't like it as much as I do. It holds a special place in my heart. It's just so much fun to me.
It is. It is quite fun. I just don't have the emotional attachment for it.
Yeah, it's just batshit insane.
It is. It's like I have a lot of good memories of it from when we watched like the dance.
When everything starts laughing and then it.
Oh yeah, that's
insane.
my favorite scene is when he's like with the lamp.
Mm-hmm,
they just let Bruce Campbell just have fun, dude. Make a movie for us.
Yeah.
But I like another honorable mention, Halloween, 1978 Halloween.
Yeah.
I really like that. They hate this movie apparently.
Oh, no, okay. We don't hate the movie.
Alright.
No, it's a good movie.
It is.
It's a great movie.
On a technical level, yes. I really like this movie, and I think it's very well done. I just don't get anything out of watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with you. I do get something out of watching it.
It's fine. I'll be alone. Like, I don't know. I really don't know why.
Well, it's just it's this movie has been made 300 times in the 40 years since it came out.
Yeah.
So
could be because we watched all the other slashers before it.
Yeah,
if I'm remembering correctly.
This movie it's so simple. It's so tight,
and I appreciate its simplicity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean,
yeah.
You acknowledge
I think it's well-made.
Technically well-made movie.
I just don't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine. Yeah. I enjoy it.
Like, when I say the premise out loud, and the things that I like about it, I feel like I should like it more.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I don't get it. It makes no sense. I just don't. So.
Yeah. I would probably put Alien up there, too. I really like Alien. I'm gonna put Day of the Dead, too.
Oh, yeah?
I really like that. It's just awful, terrible people.
And Bub.
And Bub.
Bub was great.
Awesome.
That's my favorite character.
But it's just terrible, awful, vile people stuck in a bunker together.
Yeah.
And the Tom Savini is amazing. He pops off on the special effects.
FX artist?
Yeah. It's so gory and disgusting sometimes.
Yeah.
But I like
those last 3 kills on the soldiers.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, you hate these characters, right?
Yeah.
The whole time you're just, they're fucking despicable people. Like racist as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful. And then they get killed in the most glorious ways. It's like ripped in half.
You watch a man's head get ripped off, and hear his screams die out as his vocal cords are finally disconnected from his
They don't even die out. Like, they get all, like, high-pitched, and then they die out.
Yeah.
And then the ultimate prick gets torn in half.
Yeah, after being shot by a zombie.
Yeah.
Which might be my favorite thing in a zombie movie ever.
Yeah.
He fucking wields the Colt.
Bub is good.
Bub is very good.
My major gripe with it is the score. It's so
out of
place. Yeah, it's like Tropical Paradise
in a bunker.
Yeah, I
get outside they had it of the Tropical Paradise.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
but it's just even then, like there's still so many times where it's just so fucking strange. Wrong. It's like weird. It's happy, upbeat music in this depressing ass movie.
Right. I'm trying to think if there's another bunker movie that we've watched, like of really shitty people just being thrown together. I feel like it's
The Hateful Eight. They're all just awful people stuck in a haberdashery.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
10 Cloverfield Lane. It's just three shitty. That. Oh my god. Any more honorable mentions?
Sure.
You don't have to.
You're gonna say the whole list again?
No, let me look. Let me look if there's one worth. Yeah, Scream. I like Scream a lot. We talked about that already.
Ooh,
that's a good
I have
movie.
one. Hellraiser.